Hello Taurus, welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. That's me. Please come into this tarot reading with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates and leave the rest. Please do trust your own intuition to separate all the messages that are meant for you and what is not, because you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is, of course, optional advice, guidance, and an energy check-in. So let's set the intention to get you some clear, helpful, insightful messages wherever you are at on your spiritual path. All right, for Taurus, let's do it. I'm kind of doing a funky spread this time around with oracle cards. It's Aquarius season, so I figured why not? Why not do something different? Be bold and strike out. All right, so I'm going to read this as past, present, future, what you're being asked to release and what you are being asked to embrace. All right, so Aries to Gemini to the Grand Trine, blessing, all right. And the Void, of course, Moon. Interesting. Okay, so there's some sort of important collaboration. It's interesting that you have the two signs literally before you and after you, Taurus. So there's a couple messages here. It could be that you are in some sort of collaboration or partnership, be it romantic, business, friendship, etc. Again, that's up to you how you want to choose to view it. And it could be that one person is really like the brain power, the one who's sort of cranking out the ideas, and the one who's actually like physically doing it or bringing it into manifestation, the one who's, I hate to say like the heavy labor, but like the action required or the passion, the enthusiasm, you know, the marketing technique where it's like you're having to be very active in getting people to consider this idea or to read this work. You know, maybe you're publishing somebody else's work. Obviously that's not going to be for everybody, but there is kind of this action and thinking. Those two energies are combined. If it's not you in some sort of collaboration or partnership directly, it could be that you are the mediator between someone who, again, who's taking a very active role. But with fire energy, it's not always consistent. It's a little bit like you have to strike while the iron's hot, especially if you're dealing with a creative mind. It's like sometimes the ideas come and go, and sometimes it's quite literally fire energy, and you're like, yes, more of that, good, I love it. Versus, then there's, I don't know. I don't get that this is the same person per se. Then there's like another energy coming through where, again, it's like they're the brains behind the operation. They're the one who plans it and thinks it through. And, you know, again, maybe they're doing some of the writing or the speaking or I don't know. There's kind of two combined energies. I don't get anything bad for it, especially when we jump into the future action. But I am saying for some of you, you might be the mediator between both. Or let's say you're doing some sort of creative project. Maybe this is sort of the fluctuation of energy happening inside of you. Some days you're really motivated and other days you just kind of want to think it through a little bit or you know, do the research, go on social media, see how everybody else is doing it. And you know, like again, there's like this balance between, it's really not the heart and the head. I mean, the head, I would say for Aries though, so interesting. The head is actually a very important like keyword here too, with the Gemini and the brain and the thinking things through and the processing of information and not getting too stuck in the details. I think that's important for Gemini. You know, Gemini is frequently related as described as like social butterfly. So it's like nothing too heavy needs to weigh them down. They need a little bit to know what's up, right? They always want to know the tea, but they just want a little bit to know enough where they can participate in the conversation, but they don't need to know the whole backstory. It's like just the facts, ma'am, like just the bullet points. So that may resonate for you in some capacity versus what this is. For some of you, it might be romantic. You may have a person who's kind of hot and cold. I could see that with the two energies coming through. Someone who's maybe wishy-washy or non-committal, or somebody who it's like the sex, the passion, the fire. It's like the body chemistry. It's there, but then when it comes to like thinking about long-term future plans, they kind of get bogged down in their head about, I don't know if I want to commit and this and that. So that's sort of what I mean. There's either one person with kind of faltering, indecisive energy, inconsistent, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's simply the message is that it's not all there all the time. It's fluctuating. It's mutable, right? It's changeable. And again, for others of you, you're mediating between people who are like that. You could have someone who's very hot-headed and someone who's maybe like being a little bit superficial or a little bit cheeky, a little bit mean girl energy, male or female, right? You know, there's different dynamics here. But then what's interesting is it goes to the Grand Trine and the blessings. So even more underscoring the fact that there's possibly 3 people involved here. Um, and I don't want you to jump to any scary conclusions if this is romantic. That's not necessarily what I mean, because the storyline of you being a mediator is coming through very, very strong here. Especially, maybe you have a friend who's literally an Aries and a Gemini, and you're trying to like be the mediator, be sort of the pacifist, and can't we all get along? And, we got to collaborate on this project, this thing, whatever. You also could be working with someone who is quite literally a twin. Sometimes the Gemini card comes up to indicate someone who is a twin. The Grand Trine, though, is a blessing. It's an aspect in astrology that says there's ease and there's harmony and there's a general flow, and you don't necessarily have to work tremendously hard for it. So that's interesting, because that's not really the message I'm getting here. So that says, have hope, because something about this is going to work itself out where there is ease, there's peace reestablished. It's almost like the Libra principle of Venus. It's like, because you're also a Venus-ruled sign, there is that ability to mediate and moderate and find the common ground and find the middle, and not do like one extreme or the other. And I think that's what you're being asked to do. I think it's both. And so for some of you, I'm even going to say it, and I don't typically say this on my channel, but if you're casually dating, and as long as you're being open and transparent about it, some of you may be trying different people on for size and seeing what fits and what feels good, and who's a brilliant conversationalist versus who has all that passion and that chemistry, and again, like your bodies are in sync there, that sort of thing. I'm not one who would necessarily recommend being deceitful about that, and I don't advocate cheating of any kind on my channel. That's just not how I roll. But people live many different lifestyles out there. That is not typically something I would associate with Taurus, though. Typically, Tauruses are very loyal people. But if this is the beginning of a relationship, it could be that you are trying different suitors, and maybe you go on one date with this person, and then you revisit that one because they ask you out again. Like, it could be that sort of thing as well. So very interesting dynamics, because we have to talk about the void of course moon. So the void of course moon, again, it is a reference to astrology, and it basically says when the moon is making its transit, right? It's moving around through the zodiac. Eventually it reaches a spot where it's not making any major aspect to a planet, in which case it's not receiving any blessings, and it's not receiving any the opposite, any downfall. It's not receiving any negative, challenging energy. It just simply is. But with that, typically we look at a void of course moon saying, nothing's going to come of this. So so there's a couple messages there. If you are in a place where you're worried that these two people are fighting and it's going to be this whole thing, and like you're starting to get an inkling that like, oh, we got to fix this because it's going to go bad. To me, it's saying it's all going to work itself out. It's going to be smooth. It's going to flow. Again, like partnerships, team dynamics, friendships, coworkers. It says like you guys are going to be able to collaborate, and nothing major is going to come of this. Again, it's not going to be a huge high in your career history, but it's also not going to be a huge low. It's going to be just about whatever. You know what I mean? Like you guys are going to get through the project. You're going to get through the speech. You're going to get through whatever, the day at the amusement park where everyone's being a little bit, selfish or stuck in their way. Like it's fine. It's all going to work out. You are going to have a good time, but again, it's not making the history books of something amazing. Now that being said, I think for those who are choosing between different romantic prospects or romantic suitors, there's one that you're more interested in, and I don't know why, I'm just sensing that it's this one, the one who's a little bit more fiery, a little bit more passionate. They're fun, there's like a childlike enthusiasm, they're driven, they're, all those things, but it's too inconsistent for you, Taurus. And to be clear, I'm not saying it has to be a fire sign, it doesn't have to be an Aries, but with the void of course moon saying missing, it's like there's a key bit of something here that is lacking or missing, and it's such an important, crucial turn on for you, right? It's a quality that you actively seek in a mate or a partner or a teammate, that because that it's like this gaping hole in what they're able to offer you. And for some of you, it's literally commitment, which is huge, right? I mean, if a person's like, yeah, I like you, but like, I don't want to date you. It's like, all right, well, we have to call a spade a spade. Others of you, I don't know why I'm wanting to say this, and hang with me because I'm not trying to be, rude or like looking down upon anyone, but I think you've also, it's funny, this message has come up a lot for the earth signs. Virgo and Capricorn had a similar message. There's someone you may be writing off because you think it's too fluffy, it's too superficial. You may think this person lacks depth, or it's not that they're not intelligent, but there's something about them that you're just kind of like, I don't know. Like, you have definite reservations about something, and I actually think that would be a better fit for you because it's getting you out of your comfort zone, and I think there's something about whatever quality this person has that you're kind of very apprehensive to consider. You're like, I don't know, like they talk a lot or this or that. It's actually highlighting something about you. And I think there's a greater question of like, well, why does that make you uncomfortable? And, you know, I hate to be cliche here, but usually it does have to do with kind of this internal belief of how we're supposed to show up in the world based on what we were taught as children. So you may have, you know, experienced a lifestyle where it was like, you know, wait your turn to speak, and, you know, don't offer unsolicited advice and And then this person is just like, they're talking a mile a minute and giving you all this advice and, you know, telling you all about like TMI, like that sort of, with Gemini energy, it's just like talk. And you're kind of like, what's with that? But when it comes down to it, though, I actually think this person has good intentions. They're not trying to tell you what to do. And okay, that makes no offense, but like that makes sense for Taurus. Like Tauruses don't like to be told what to do, right? That's just the thing. There's many signs that are like that. It's not just you. And I think this person, again, it's not that they're trying to tell you what to do. They just don't necessarily have a filter to be like, oh, maybe Taurus just wants me to like hold space for that. They're not necessarily looking for my opinion. And so here's the thing, you can tell them that. You know, like if you're getting into a relationship and that starts to become like an issue, or you're considering being with them, you know, you may as well tell them you have nothing to lose. And, you know, if they're that offended, then, you know, that's their ego getting in the way. But ultimately, you're asking for what you need in this relationship, and that's important. So I also think these messages are related in some capacity if this is a team dynamic. You guys are going to get through it. It'll be fun, but it's not going to be amazing, but it's also not going to be terrible. If these are two different people, even the color tones to me are saying something here. I think you have more opportunity with this Gemini twin, chatty, curious, intellectual energy versus the one that, again, it's sexy, it's passionate, it's like watching a rock star on stage. Like, you can't look away, but you're also like, I don't know if they're actually going to give me what I need. That's sort of what I get. And again, it's not like this blowout, you know, ugly breakup. It's just kind of like it's a lack of passion, even though it starts off very passionate. This one, maybe it's more like, I don't know if slow burn is the right term. In fact, this person may also have heavy water in their chart. Something about TMI is sharing too much personal, emotionally triggering, or like they have great emotional depth when they speak, though, too. And that, again, that can sometimes be uncomfortable for earth signs, not all of them. Yeah, this one, it starts off with a bang, but then it tapers off, and then you're not left with much. It's like, I'm almost wanting to say, Taurus, like, don't fall in love with a pretty face. All right, so then what you're being asked to release, the second house, so control issues, right? Also, you know, overvaluing someone's bank account and what they do for a living and how much money they make. I think you're right to have standards. I think you're right to have strong opinions on money. You know, as a Taurus, that's very much your realm and your territory. You probably give excellent financial advice. But yeah, there could be too much focus on money in some aspect of this. It could be too that you're interested in dating somebody and there's sort of this expectation that they're always going to pick up the check, or that they're, you know, they have to wine and dine you every time. And again, like, all this feels very Taurian. Like, I get it. I'm not hating on that, because, like, you know, sensuality and pleasure and food and the full, you know, luxurious experience, that's super important to Taurus. You know, you rule the five senses. Like, I get it. Again, I'm not hating on that. But if you are writing off a person simply because they're not taking you out to like fancy expensive dinners every weekend, again, are your priorities in the right place? I'm just putting that out there. Now, there's a difference when I say focuses on money, right? If you're dating someone who doesn't have a job and, you know, you're the sugar daddy or the sugar mama, like, yeah, that's kind of messed up too. So again, something about money is coming through, of needing to detach from a storyline about money that may be overly influencing this scenario or dynamic. What you're being asked to move into is Pisces energy. So again, you may be dealing with someone who's, I'm making this up, right? But like Sun, Moon, Pisces, Gemini rising, or something about, actually, let's think about what that could be. I feel like Pisces, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I thought I was onto something there, but then it kind of went away. So we're not going to go into that. But you are being asked to express more emotions. You are being asked to move forward with empathy, with compassion, with sort of like this, again, for the mediator storyline, is can't we all just get along? That's very Piscean energy. Like it's Jupiter. It's hopefully and hopeless romantic, but also hopefully optimistic. It's very optimistic is what I'm trying to say. I'm tripping over my words here. It's because I'm in that Piscean energy. I can't quite grasp it, right? Then Neptune took over. Someone who's a dreamer, someone who's a creative, someone who at the end of the day, they just want to love you. They just want to cuddle. They just want to like soak in the bathtub and tell you fun stories. Like that's very Pisces to me. There is something maybe a little bit, again, I wanted to use the word juvenile, but it's like this raw, I think it has to do with sensitivity, or maybe you thinking this person is a little bit naive or something like that. But again, if we kind of hangman energy, which isn't here, but I'm feeling it, like twist it from another perspective, it's like their view of the world is so interesting and unique, and there is something intriguing about it, even though you're kind of like, yeah, but that's not the reality of life. It's like, but maybe, again, the mediation, the Venus, the Libra type stuff of like weighing it out, maybe there's a need to compensate or find the middle ground or to do both. I almost think there is kind of like an opposites attract energy here, but there's much more reservation on your part, Taurus. Let's throw zodiac signs on that. Oh, there goes my chapstick. Zodiac signs that want to come out this reading. Aries, well, there you go. Scorpio, Pisces, and Taurus. All right. I'm surprised we didn't get Gemini, but I'm also not worried about it because it's literally right smack in the middle of your spread. So that's clarity enough for me. All right. Let's do a new spread for Taurus. For Taurus. This one. All right. Here we go. Let's get some new messages, connect with a new group of Tauruses, or simply get something else that didn't come through in that last message. What does Taurus need to hear? Some insight, some guidance. Some of you feel like there's a Scorpio holding you back, or something is delayed with a Scorpio. Yeah, as you get a bunch of the cards that Scorpio got. All right, you're on your way up, kid. Some of you are climbing the corporate ladder. You're getting some sort of raise or promotion. Some of you, you're independent entrepreneurial idea is getting financed, and you're going to be able to open shop, or you're going to be able to move forward with that project, especially acquiring a new space for some of you Taurians. That's going to be very important. And then it's something that it's highly competitive, though. A lot of you are getting, which is an interesting energy for Taurus, right? Not to say that you don't succeed in that, but again, there's something about like appreciate the slow burn versus sort of like the flash in the pan quick success that actually doesn't sustain or maintain for a long time. So I almost think it's don't get elbowed out by the competition. Know that the money, the clients, the customers, whatever, it's going to come, but it's going to take time. And that shouldn't surprise you, right? You're an earth sign. That's very earthy energy coming through, but especially involving Venus type things. I mean, quite literally, I have to address it. I am using like very specific oracle cards, but something about a beauty salon, that anything aesthetically driven, so hairs, nails, costume design, sewing, fabrics, painting, again, like the visual aesthetics, something of that, very Venusian, the luxury, the full experience, the salon, the spa, I would even say like the Reiki, the touching of the body, the tattoo artist, the henna artist. It could even have to do with something spiritual. I'm hearing candle making. For some of you may be opening a candle shop. Anyway, that's good. I'm hearing like we're off to the races, so there's speed and momentum and things are picking up. But yeah, I'm getting like this very interesting energy of like combative or quarrelsome, because for some of you, you're smoking the competition initially, but then it dies off a little bit. So don't take that as a defeat, or that, you started off strong and then lost momentum. It's not that. It's that you're the new kid in town. And so happily for you, there's a lot of traffic that's being driven to your website, to your store, to your whatever. And I said something very similar to Leo, which makes sense. There's something similar about Leo and Taurian energy right now, especially entrepreneurial energy. Enjoy it while it lasts, but when it starts to taper off and things are delayed a little bit, or business just kind of, it dips down, but don't get me wrong, it comes back up. It comes and goes in waves. Allow that time to, I'm hearing the word deliberation. it's good to be able to look at your quick success and be like, okay, we did that. It was like crazy Tasmanian devil energy. But now that we have time to breathe and exhale a little bit, like let's break that down and see our wins and our losses. Like what did we handle really well? How do we streamline that process? And what didn't go well? And how do we make it better? How do we fine tune it? Now that we know the influx of customers and their demands and what they're going to want, do we need more staff? Do we need less staff? Do we need to reallocate where we're putting our staff? Like there's something about allow for the dip in sales or the dip in driving clients in. That's actually a gift from the universe to give you a chance to reset and reallocate and restructure, reorganize what maybe was too much or not working to the best of its ability. But I am hearing quick pace. There's a quick pace when you first start off. And there is also, like, I don't even want to get into this because really it's no concern to you, but I guess it's just a confirmation for two of you. Because you're the new kid in town and you have all the glitter and shine and sparkle, there's people around you looking at you as the competition. And yeah, rather than coming together as like, hey, we're both in this business, like, let's be friends, let's support each other, let's promote each other, like, which, again, like, I get it. You guys are competitors, but there is something nice about, establishing like a friendly, harmonious connection and like, hey, I'm not the enemy. Like, we're both trying to succeed in our business, but like, honestly, it's like there's room for both of us. And there is. Like, just because someone's doing it doesn't mean you can't do it too, and vice versa. But yeah, there's someone in your energy that is coming at you with a low vibe. So I would choose the higher road, Taurus. I would choose to be the bigger person and don't pay it any mind. I don't think you have to ignore them or give them the silent treatment, but they're saying things that they're trying to agitate you or get under your skin. Again, they're trying to stir the pot. They're shit stirrers. Again, it's really of no use to you. It's no importance to you. I think. Yeah, and the thing is, I think most of you, like, you're kind of going to do that thing where it's like, smile and nod, and then when they leave, you're like, what an a-hole. Like, it's that type of like, but I think that's your best approach is to just, put on a good face, blah, 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 and then they leave, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever you say, sweetheart. It's that type of thing. And yeah, like, that's the best way to do it. I'm not saying you have to show up false, because I don't think you will. There's something very... Again, that Taurian energy, like, it doesn't present as false. It's kind of like what you see is what you get. I'm not going to put on this, dog and pony show for you or pretend that we're friends when we're not. There's something very authentic and real about Taurus that I can totally appreciate. But yeah, just be careful that you're not getting sucked into their negative energy. It's like, that's what it is. It's like a, what do they call it? Like vampire, an energy vampire. It's like they're trying to agitate you, so don't let it. Be fixed in your principle of like, life is good and I'm happy and my business is good and like, that's what I know and that's what I'm sticking to. Okay, let's see. So yeah, you're coming from a place of ease and slowness, which is lovely. I love that for you. But then it's like we hit big business. We hit like this influx of things coming in, and there's much more implementation of structures and routine. And some of you, it's like you're writing up the code, not code of ethics, but sort of, it's like you're writing the administration handbook for how to run this company now, because it's like it's requiring more laws and regulations and legalities. You're having to do research online about how to apply for this, how to be granted this, how to do that, how to work within this city or this zone, this territory, this network. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces now. So again, it's saying take it in stride, know that you're going through a period of challenge, but it's not going to be impossible. And I mean, that makes sense too. Like, we're in Aquarius season, so that is all about linking and communities. It's an information driven cerebral sign. So yeah, there's lots of documents. There's lots of, again, like, and Saturn sign too, like code of ethics and how do we run this? How do we adhere to the legalities and whatever, that sort of thing. It is going to taper off, right? Then we're going to get into Pisces season, and like, it's quite literally like the sea. Like, we're going to be able to chill a little bit and kind of immerse ourselves in the energies of what used to be and how we used to do things and, how we want to change things. And like, there is going to be an ease and a go with the flow. You have that on both ends of the spectrum, but in the middle, like, it gets really real, really quick, if that makes sense. Some of you, like, you may even get like a TV spot, or you may get interviewed for a magazine or a newspaper. You may be really working on your marketing strategy and advertisement. I see somebody like holding a microphone in front of your mouth to be like, yes, tell us about your new shop. And I know this is like very specific, guys, but again, I would encourage you to kind of think outside the box a little bit. Maybe not all these messages will hit, but maybe in like a more metaphoric sense, there is kind of something that will resonate for you. That's my hope anyway. But if it's not your message, it's not your message. You do have a couple cards that Scorpio had, and so there could be a collaboration with a Scorpio. There could be, especially a family member who's a Scorpio coming in to help you and assist you, and they actually seem to be a saving grace. It's almost like for some of you, it's like they're volunteering time to help you, and like they're not even expecting to get paid for it. Like they're coming to bat for you because they believe in you, they champion you, they support you. There may even be a financial advisor that you're speaking to that really helps. I'm hearing it's very cut and dry, something that was kind of confusing to you or you didn't understand. A financial advisor, or maybe someone who has strong Scorpio in their chart, comes in and they're like, okay, let me tell you how it really is. And like they're breaking it down into like these digestible pieces where you're like, oh, okay, I get that now, or I understand. Yeah, like you have a Scorpio coming to your aid, and they're kind of the best. I have to be honest with you. I said something similar to, who was it? Pisces? Actually, it may have been Scorpio. There's something about being by the sea or by the lake or by the river. Some of you may work in a water-related field. I know that's a bit of a far-fetched one for some of you. Or it's just saying the healing properties of water are very beneficial to you right now. So taking long baths, taking long showers, going to the steam room, sitting in the jacuzzi, whatever it is for you, there's something very soothing and healing about water right now. So take advantage of that, because I do sense that there is some necessary stress going on in your life right now that is paving the way for a beautiful future, especially financially. But it's like, yeah, you got to show up to the race. It's like somebody fired the gun and now you're off to the race. You're running, and there isn't necessarily time to stop and think like, oh, like, do I really want this? Am I in this race? It's like, yeah, you're in the race. Go, and so in some sense, it's like your dreams are coming true. I'm going to pull one card on this because also something with transit and transportation is coming through, but I'm not really sure what to do with that. Some of you may have to stay at a very fancy hotel, or for your job, you may be sent to some conference or some sort of, I'm hearing the word alliance, some sort of group community, where it seems like most of your airfare or whatever, your hotel fare is probably being covered, but you're at this really ritzy, fancy place. Maybe it's just like a dinner meeting. And I think you may be meeting someone who's going to be a key player in your social life moving forward. It feels like LinkedIn. It feels like a meeting for a business connection. And it could be more. It could swing romantic. That's not the first vibe I'm getting, though. It's like you're meeting an influencer of some kind that's really going to... I'm almost getting the idea of passing on the torch. Like you may be meeting with someone who's had a lot of career success in your field, and they're just showering you with like compliments and advice and this and that. And, again, there's that thing of like advice and guidance, right? Sometimes it is useful. Sometimes we have to pull ourselves out of our own ways and be like, yeah, maybe I do need to be more open-minded about this, Others of you, again, you may have like a nosy neighbor giving unsolicited advice, but you also know it's not coming from a good place. So you like cease and desist on that one. Some of you are being forced to move locations because of like an issue with your landlord or a tenant, and maybe that has to do with your house or property. I'm hearing like eviction, and I don't think it's on your part, like you did anything wrong, or it could just be that you're being asked to leave because the place you rented is now being purchased. Like there is some sort of shift and change. And so you are being asked to have a flexible game plan or a shifting goalpost or something about, dreaming of this space, and we moved in and we've been here for 3 years and now all of a sudden we're being asked to move. That's okay. Like you're still maintaining the integrity of what you built initially. You're moving structures, you're moving land, you're moving locations, you're moving states, you're moving towns. There's a malleability or a flexibility required for this endeavor. Honor your inner child. Honor your real children too if you have them. Listen to them. They actually have some really cute, creative ideas that you're going to incorporate, like a piece of their art or a piece of their clothing in your store or in your, I don't know, or for you it's just like a significant totem. This is so unusual, but it's almost like you're bringing like their little baby sneaker and like putting it on your desk, and it's to remind you like not to take things seriously. There's something about having a possession of your child that they've probably outgrown, but it reminds you of when things were sweet sweet and innocent and very delicate, and like symbolically it's about your own personal growth and your own growth, either entrepreneurial or business wise, whatever. Yeah, again, I'm hearing the word shapeshifter, but in a good way. You are being asked to wear different hats. You are being asked to transition into different roles, or multi-skills, multi-talent. It's actually coming through as very Gemini energy, like jack of all trades, master of none. Taurus typically is the master of a lot, though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, there's a need to step out of your comfort zone and sort of, I'm hearing the word self-taught, self-learning. In order for this business to expand, or you to expand in your career field or ascend the ladder, you are sort of being asked to take ownership and initiative for your own skills and learn them on your own. It might be that you're paying out of your own pocket to increase some sort of knowledge base or skill, but then when you bring it to the company, that's gonna raise your salary, or get a bonus, or maybe they'll reimburse you. Something to do with that. There is some storyline coming through about children being very beneficial right now. I mean, for a select few of you, though, you may be getting out of a career that really involved children. I'm not sure. Or going towards a career where there's a lot of competitive female energy. Does that make sense to anyone? But it's good. Yeah, whatever it is, it's Wheel of Fortune. All right. We're all over the place. For Taurus. For some of you, you're working on some sort of logo or design or a flag, some sort of flag. Oh, maybe it's like a marketing thing. Like, yeah, I'm hearing something about a flag. All right, your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Love it. So look back. What were you doing around the new moon in Capricorn? Something about that is going to come to fruition in June or late June, early July even. But yeah, the seeds have already been planted. And for some of you, it's like they're sprouting up from the ground much quicker than you anticipated. And so there's a need to like play catch up a little bit and be like, oh my gosh, all right, well, this is happening fast, so we better be ready. I think that's important. You need to be prepared. And then have faith in your dreams, the waxing crescent moon. Yeah, for some of you, it felt like you had to alter or change your plans, and therefore you're feeling like, that I'm so precious about my dream and what I wanted this to be, and I'm looking at it and it's not really what I thought it was going to be. Don't get stuck on that, because it's going to be even better. But the universe is saying, like, I'm collaborating with you on this. So again, be open-minded, have faith that you are being steered in a positive direction, because you are. That's what the Wheel of Fortune says. All right, Taurus, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like the video, guys. That really does help me. Show some love in the comments with an emoji, with a positive comment. That helps me find a greater audience on YouTube. It helps my channel grow. If you're not already subscribed, I would invite you to subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell if you want to be alerted when I post. And if you want more content, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so check me out there. I am the Intuitive Teacup, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, Taurus.